What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the JuiceBox presented by LOCKCITY. It's Wighty here today. Happy Wednesday. Hope everyone's having a good week. Today we have episode 196 of the JuiceBox. It's going to be a continuation for the Blast Open London Fall 25 closed qualifier. We're still in the online portion of the tournament, and we'll obviously do a quick recap of results for today. A little bit of a change in format for today's video. Instead of going game by game, I'm just going to hop right into the parlays very shortly. I'll do a quick review of results, and we'll just hop into parlays and we'll explain each leg's reasoning. I think that might be a little bit better of a flow. Let me know in the comments what you prefer, if you like the flow of today's video better or if you like the old flow. Super interested in knowing, and I'll keep going with whatever the majority is, or find a happy medium if it seems to be split relatively 50-50. But nonetheless, let's get into it. So today, in terms of overall results, we saw M80 take a surprise map from Vitality right off the bat. We said it could potentially be close. I did think Vitality would edge that out 2-0, but it was 2-1 nonetheless. M80 won the first map 13-3. Virtus Pro, unfortunately, was upsetting for us. Virtus Pro went down 2-0 to Gamer Legion. Gamer Legion is a good team. In terms of the maps that we ended up seeing pulled, Virtus Pro did not end up going with Overpass as I expected. Kind of messed the whole flow up in terms of map pools. FaZe and Ecstatic was close. Ecstatic held it close over the first map there. Ended up taking a map, but ultimately lost 2-1. And then on the Na'Vi and Fnatic side of things, Na'Vi blew through Fnatic relatively easily. So what that looked like for us in terms of parlay results was like this. We cashed one and we missed one. Unfortunately, on the day here, we went up a total of 35 cents. We hit the Ecstatic and Aurora parlay, but Virtus Pro unfortunately fell flat, so we missed that leg on the other one. Vitality did come through. But yeah, Virtus Pro kind of shit the bed there. So we went up a whole 35 cents, and we'll look forward to a better day here today. So we'll hop over to Thunderpick now. For those of you that watch our videos regularly, you obviously know that Thunderpick.io is one of the top books in the world for esports betting. We are lucky enough to be partnered with them. So the link that you see on your screen, tinyurl.com/LCThunder. If you use that link, you're going to get a 100% deposit bonus on your first deposit, all the way up to $600 or whatever equivalent, whatever other currency you use. They'll match it up to a $600 equivalent, 500 euros, so on and so forth. Your first deposit on Thunderpick gets immediately matched there for you to be able to use on your esports picks. It's not just CS2. They have a ton of other esports. They have a casino on there. They have regular sports markets. So highly suggest checking out Thunderpick.io if you do not already have a book to bet on. They have a ton of different lines available. They keep the lines open when a lot of other books close them down. They have lines for all of the offshoot kind of niche tournaments. Obviously, when we're talking about Blast London, it is a bigger one, but Thunderpick is definitely going to be your go-to there. So we'll look on over at the two parlays that we have crafted up for tomorrow. I did the same sort of approach. I did a 6 a.m. and an 8:30, and then I did the two later ones. I do like kind of splitting the day up like that. It seems to work well. And then if the first one goes wonky for whatever reason, you can potentially put in a little bit more later in the day. And then obviously the Discord at the bottom of the screen there. We have plays going on in the Discord pretty much throughout the day, all day. Our CS2 chat there. A lot of community members talking about plays back and forth. I post my plays there in my Wighty Wins channel, but a ton of discussion going on in there. So if you're a Discord user, if you like Discord, highly recommend joining that at the bottom of the page as well. Completely free. Come join, come talk to us. We're not going to charge you for a subscription or anything like that. Just come hang out. All right, so the first one here, we're going to go MOUZ map 2 minus 3.5 round spread, so they have to win by at least 4. It's got to be 13-9 or better. If it does happen to go to overtime, we're probably screwed, but 16-12 technically would cash us. 19-15 sort of score line if it went to double OT there. But we're going to go with MOUZ minus 3.5 round spread. If we go over to MOUZ and Imperial, first things first, Imperial has a horrible new logo. They went with the Gamdom logo. It's like a betting site or something as far as I know. But they're going with that logo here. It looks atrocious. So 1, they're going to be jinxed because of that. 2, MOUZ is the better team. 4th best team in the world. They're falling in the rankings a little bit. Their form hasn't looked exceptional lately. Try's always decent. Cello, no way, Vinny. I mean, it's an okay roster. Skulls hasn't had a good performance in God knows how long, but they're not going to beat MOUZ here. MOUZ should win this 2-0. I'm going to play it safe. I think MOUZ is going to end up taking Train here. Imperial's obviously going to ban Ancient. MOUZ probably I'm gonna say overpass is what they end up banning here. I don't know. I could see them switching it up maybe, but let's say they ban overpass. Imperial probably nuke for their pick. MOUZ probably train. Imperial on train. They don't look great. They beat Audic, sure, but they also lost to Audic. They lost to Legacy. They beat Legacy here. They beat Elevate, but they lost to Namiga. This was back when Namiga had Zwei. But nonetheless, I'm going to be going with MOUZ. Map 2 on their pick. I'm assuming it's going to be train. Minus 3.5 round spread. We need them to win 13-9 or better. The next one up there is going to be, G2. I was over on the wrong side of the plays. G2 on the money line. So G2's playing Liquid. It's the next one up, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. I like G2 to win this straight up. I know the public is saying Liquid here. I think it's mostly North Americans. I don't think that's going to be the case. G2's look strong. They're in good form. Yes, Liquid, they played Vitality pretty well here. They went to overtime with Vitality. But when Liquid plays top teams in the world, Liquid plays well. When Liquid plays teams that they should be competitive with or teams that they potentially have a chance of beating, they never end up beating those teams. Yeah, they beat FURIA. Yeah, they beat Ecstatic. They lost to VP Prodigy. They lost to FaZe. They lost to MOUZ. They lost to Sashi, Mongols, Lin Vision. So some decent ones there, but I think Liquid is still on the downswing. I think Ultimate is obviously going to be a bright spot for them tomorrow, the Ultimate Sun Pius battle. I think Ultimate probably edges that out regardless of the map that we see taken. In terms of maps, what we could probably see drawn, Liquid, I could see them taking Mirage, to be honest. On the G2 side of things, obviously Overpass is going to get banned here. Liquid, I could also see them taking a nuke or a train. G2's probably going to go Inferno, I would imagine, and try to get Dust 2 as a decider. If Ancient's a decider, I don't think that's bad either. I think that could potentially slide in G2's favor as well. But I'm going to go G2 on the money line here for my second leg. I do think G2 edges this out. It opened at 1.61. It's since been dropping. I grabbed it at 1.55. I think it was down to 1.53 very briefly there. But those are going to be the first two legs on my first parlay. That's going to be MOUZ minus 3.5 round spread for map 2, and G2 just straight up match winner just on the money line. The next one that I have crafted is going to be Spirit. So same sort of logic here. Spirit on their map pick. Spirit map 2 minus 3.5 round spread against FlyQuest, and then FURIA as the match winner. If we fly over to Spirit and FlyQuest first, no pun intended, Spirit obviously wins this. Public consensus is outrageous. Spirit's going to win. They are playing with Zontix here. So after EWC, it was expected that Zontix would be leaving the team and they would end up with Tanir. It now looks like Zontix is going to be playing, obviously, Blast London. Following Blast London, it looks like he's going to be playing ESL Pro League. And then following ESL Pro League, he was announced on the graphic for IEM Chengdu. So I don't know if he's still going to be in the mix for that. Don't know what's happening with that rumor, if that ended up being false potentially, or if Tanir's slated to join at maybe a later date. But nonetheless, Spirit is going to win this with Zontix in the lineup. If we're looking at what's happened recently when these teams have played, it's not been close whatsoever. So Spirit beat FlyQuest on Nuke and Mirage 13-9 and 13-2. Time before that when they played was Blast Bounty way at the beginning of the year back in January, and that was 13-3, 13-1. Anubis obviously no longer in the map pool. Spirit should absolutely wipe FlyQuest on this. FlyQuest is going to pick Dust 2, I would imagine. I don't think that's going to go necessarily well for them. Spirit Ancient has been what they've been going with more often than not. I could see them potentially taking Mirage, but I would say 90% chance that they take the one that they have a 90% win rate on, and that's going to be Ancient. Spirit's not super comfortable on Nuke right now, or I should say Zwei isn't super comfortable on Nuke. That was their ban when they were on Namiga. He hasn't played a lot of Nuke. I doubt that Spirit, they could leave it to the decider just because they're going to win in 2 anyway. But I would imagine Spirit picks Ancient, FlyQuest picks Dust 2, and this is over relatively quickly. On Spirit's pick of Ancient, they're obviously going to destroy FlyQuest. If you look at what FlyQuest has done recently on Ancient, yeah, they beat the Huns and they beat Eruption, but they lost to Liquid, they lost to Namiga, they got crushed by Heroic, so on and so forth. It's not going to be competitive with Spirit. Spirit on map 2, they should crush. Next leg there is going to be FURIA just on the money line. So FURIA and Legacy here, a nice little battle of Brazil. Battle of Brazil is always fun, regardless of which Brazilian teams are matched up against each other. All of those South American qualifiers are always a ton of fun and usually pretty competitive. I think now Furia's in better form than we've seen them in previously, and Legacy's in worse form than we saw them at earlier in the year when they were able to knock off Vitality. But I still think this will be pretty close. When we're looking at Furia, they played Liquid very close. They played MOUZ very close. They're beating teams like Big, G2, Falcons. Legacy's not on that level. Just because it is kind of regional, again, it could get sketchy. Cinema, absolute cinema. So yeah, people are expecting this to be relatively close. I didn't check public consensus. I neglected to do that. I would agree that it's Furia. But yeah, I'm going Furia on the money line here. When we're looking at map pools, Legacy probably takes Inferno. Yeah, they could win Inferno. Any other map here, I think Furia wins. But given Furia's form, how recently we've seen them play and how well we've seen them play recently, I'm going to go with Furia here. Probably a 2-1. Could be 2-0. But that's going to be my second leg on this. I think we definitely go 2-0 on both of these. I really like both of these plays. But yeah, I'll leave them up on the screen here for y'all to take a look at. Again, first one's going to be MOUZ minus 3.5 round spread on their pick, map 2. Spirit sometimes does take map 1. The reason that I went map 2 regardless is that even if it's Dust 2, I think Spirit wipes the floor with FlyQuest regardless. Spirit could take first map pick there and end up with Ancient. In which case, I think they're going to start off really, really strong, have a lot of good momentum going into the following map, which again, I would imagine FlyQuest is going to play Dust 2. Spirit's got a really, really strong Dust 2. They're going to win by 4 regardless of what map it is, map 1, map 2, regardless, any map in the pool, except for Nuke maybe, but I don't think we're going to see Nuke that early on. I doubt that FlyQuest picks that. And then on the Furia side of things, Furia on the money line. So love these two plays for tomorrow. If you are tailing them, let me know. And again, if you like this format better than what we were doing previously for the videos, let me know as well. And we can continue on with it. I think it's a little bit more condensed. We're coming in at just 11 minutes time and instead of about 20 there. So I think a little bit better for flow. But yeah, let me know. Give it a like, comment, subscribe if you like what you're hearing. Other than that, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Peace.